I think like 16.
16.
So, and I had llamas, I had ponies, I had peacocks, I had sheep,
Yeah.
we had all sorts of pigs and goats and cows. I mean, I had everything.
So you know.
And I love animals. I to this day.
So why don't you work at a zoo or something? Curate.
I do. It's called Albany.
Oh, yeah, the other zoo. That's it. You got a lot of animals up there.
It's an absolute zoo.
Wow. So
So you
now
haven't
you
figured out
graduate.
how to train that 800-pound gorilla and all
I have not learned how to train, and why I would know how to do it, but you need other members who are actually willing to stand up to that 800-pound gorilla, and unfortunately, they're not willing to.
So does it sound like Sheldon Silver's ready to leave soon?
No, it doesn't.
Oh,
I don't think he's pillaged the state enough. I don't think he's gotten enough money into his secret accounts yet.
But he comes up for election, right?
He does, and he's in a district that, to be honest with you, he could be vulnerable. But where those member items that I get, maybe we get $100,000 a year. He puts like $12 million a year into his district, so he buys off constituencies.
He's Lower Manhattan, right?
And he's an entirely despicable guy, but he is a very good political operator, and he knows what he's doing. But yeah, he represents a part of Manhattan, including Chinatown. So there's an ethnic, large minority there that could pose a political problem to him if anybody would be willing to contest him.
Well, that would be another thing. Just find somebody down there.
Right.
I mean, at least.
Yeah, you don't want to end up in the East River for taking on Sheldon Silver.
Well, that's true, but you could always find a ladder to come out. But if you don't get killed, huh?
Right.
You get threats?
Do I get threats?
Yeah. You get any threats from?
I have gotten, I've gotten weird messages and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, you had the dead goat.
Dead goat in my driveway with a death threat around its neck. So I don't know if that would count as a threat.
Oh, that wasn't one of your goats that was
No, it wasn't mine. No, I don't have
put there.
goats
Oh, okay.
anymore.
So listen, after you got out of high school, now did you go to college?
I did. I went
Okay.
to the United States Air Force Academy.
Oh, the Air Force. Okay.
Best 4 years of my life, and I was a political science major.
Oh, okay. That's good. So that's where you
At
started.
the Air Force Academy, you major in your minor, you minor in your major. I mean, you graduate with something between 160 and 180 credit hours. And even though I was a political science major, you have a strong science and engineering background. But I was a political science major. I was a White House intern during that time in the White House Drug Policy Office under President Bill Clinton. Not literally under President Bill Clinton. I had a somewhat different experience than Monica Lewinsky, because I know where your questioning was about to go. It was a year after her
Well, were you
experience.
ever a Democrat? Because it sounds like you mentioned the Kennedys. You mentioned Bill Clinton just now.
Ed, I'll tell you what. I am not happy with either political party. I
understand.
If I was not in politics, I would not be a registered Republican. I would probably be an unaffiliated or a blank or possibly an independent voter. But I am so upset, and I don't feel represented, to be honest with you, by either party. And that's why that has been my success, in my opinion, in my elections, because I understand how most New Yorkers feel.
Right.
You don't feel well represented by the corporate interests in either party.
Oh, that's good. It's hard to have that stand, but that's good. At least you're in a party, and you make your stand.
You try to make it better from within.
Yeah, within.
And I've done that. I mean, at the local level, I've had an impact. I know on the issues from taxes to illegal immigration and the open government that I've had an impact. And then you try to get more people elected, whether it be Greg Kane or Terrence Murphy. You try to get people elected at the local level who can continue to make an impact at that local level.
Right, because that's what you need, the network going right up the chain of command.
Yep.
So that's good. But and then you get out of the academy. Was that in Arizona? Where's that located?
In Colorado Springs. Yeah,
okay.
West Point. You know where that is?
Yeah, here.
Naval Academy in Annapolis.
Okay.
And talk about goats. And then Colorado Springs in Colorado.
Well, you were at a lot of the Eagle Scouts ceremonies, and this last one you were at. You see the uniforms of the kids?
Yep.
He changed from Annapolis, he went there to the Marines, and the others, his brothers in that. So,
and that's great.
Isn't it great to see? I know you have to feel good about this. These kids growing up, and they're smart, and they want to serve their country. And
that's the best of America.
Yeah, right. And see, I keep telling you all the time on every show, to look at these positive things that there is still people out there doing your thing. So you're not alone. Okay.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So how did you?
We represent the silent majority. Our people, our friends, fellow patriots, they're busy paying their taxes. They're busy trying to pay their mortgage. They're busy making sure that their kids are Eagle Scouts instead of convicted felons.
Felons, right.
And that's tough work. That's hard work. And that's why when we have meetings, maybe only 20, 30 people show up if we're lucky. But believe me, the values that we have, the concerns that we have are shared by millions of New Yorkers.
And that's what keeps us going. That's what keeps us going.
Or at least we can tell ourselves that.
Well, I tell myself that all the time. Self-satisfaction, you know? I mean, you make some dents, you plant the seeds, and you get some credit here and there.
Are you really going to dye your hair black and become Elvis Presley?
Well, you know, I had it black before, and I looked at the other guy.
What year was that? 1920?
No. That was pretty recent when I worked in Scarsdale as chief of security.
You dyed it black?
Dyed it black. And then when it changed
Elvis
back, you know. But listen, you feel.
Why don't you? Are you going to dye it black though? Will you?
I'm thinking about it, but see, my image.
I have a question.
Okay.
If I get elected to the New York State Senate, will you dye your hair black?
I'll dye my hair black, no doubt
Okay,
about it.
well,
Okay, so that's two things we go, yeah.
Okay.
Because I like to have my hair dark. I'm tired of looking older than, and you know, I'm old, but you know.
Yeah.
It makes
You
you
look
feel
great for 90.
For 90, that's what I'm
You do.
saying. It's and every year it gets older. But the thing is, when you dye your hair,
All I know is you look better than Dennis Tate.
he has no hair, so that's But it was funny when my wife went in to get her hair done. You know, she come out and she said, "Your father's waiting outside." So I went in the next day. I said, "Listen, you do the same thing."
Yeah.
I walked in, they thought it was Roy Orbison.
Really?
Yeah, coming in.
Yep.
So it lasted for quite a while.
Now, who's Roy? Is that a 1930s actor?
Yeah, there's another guy in the 50s. You know,
Okay.
that's it. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Can't use that terminology with me.
Oh, yeah. You wasn't even born.
I wasn't.
77?
Yeah.
77. That's hard to believe. So actually, listen, when I met you, you were about 28. So what are you
Yeah,
now,
remember
32
that?
now?
32.
32, wow.
Yeah.
You're getting old yourself.
I am. I know it.
But now, we stopped at, you went to college, okay?
Went to college.
Now, when you get out of college and you took these courses and everything else, so what got you into the political?
You know, my mom every day says, "Greg, I really want you to get a real job." And, you know, sometimes I wonder what got me into politics. But I would come back home and you'd watch. I mean, I'm sitting in traffic on Route 22, and I'm still sitting in traffic on Route 22. You see the expansion that's going on, house after house after house, not smart growth, just overdevelopment. Because in order to have lower taxes, you've got to have a dynamic tax base. You have to. Right. My parents actually, the home that I said how we lived in a basement while my parents could build their home, my parents knew that those school taxes were going to be out of control, so they sold the family home. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to run for New York State Assembly. I'm going to try to make a difference. And that's why I got involved in politics. But every day is a fight. And politics, in my opinion, is not geared for the honest man. It's not geared for the honest woman. You know, it is very tough. When you're a blue-collar person, it's tough. If you have a family, to get into this business is an extraordinary sacrifice to do it right. It would be an easy business to do if you just went in and played to go along and get along and become part of the club. Because there's a club in Albany. I mean, these people, they're all friends with each other. They don't want to upset each other. They don't want to push any tough decisions. They don't want to have any tough debates because they're very friendly with each other. And when you go in there and you try to upset that apple cart, you do upset that apple cart, it can make being up there very tough. And you know that at a local level, right? I mean, you're somebody that goes around the community and you ask the tough questions. Right. And that doesn't always endear you to the people that you're asking the tough questions from. But if you weren't doing it, who would?
Right. And that's the thing. See how you continue, I continue the same way. Because who's going to do it?
Right.
So get that mindset that your values or values a lot of people. We don't want to see you disappear yet. So
not yet.
Not yet. So okay. So you did the assembly. You went up to Albany, and what are you looking forward to now?
Well, now I'm running for New York State Senate, and the district is about 2 times the size of my assembly district. I represent about 50% of the Senate district now in my assembly district. Okay. It's a great district. It takes in a huge chunk of northern Westchester, all of northern Westchester, all of Putnam County, and eastern Dutchess County. And I believe we are perfectly poised to get back the majority in the state Senate. And all the issues that when you were in the super minority in the New York State Assembly, and that's what I am a part of, the super minority in the New York State Assembly. If you look at the impact that we've had on issues like the property tax cap, and by we I say you and me, right? Because we've been at this, working at this now for 4 years. And from the property